Damn near everywhere. We may have stood a chance before, but now with footage, by morning, the whole world's gonna know you exist, kiddo.
You completely disobeyed me.
I was just trying to help.
I told you I didn't need your help.
On top of that, why didn't you just fly away? You could have disappeared before anyone realized you were there.
I don't know.
You don't know? You landed right in front of them.
I saved their lives.
That's not the point.
Yes, it is.
So after everything we talked about, after everything we warned you would happen if the world found out you existed right now, you just forgot?
I didn't forget, Mom. I just didn't care.
Well, you better start caring.
Why? Because you're telling me to.
We are your parents.
So what? All your rules. Hiding who I am, telling me who I should be. I can't do it anymore.
As long as you live under this roof, you will do what your mother and I tell you to do.
Whatever.
Jordan? Hey! You go up to your room, and you do not come out until we tell you to. And don't you ever do that to me again.
You gotta rein him in. He's not as careful as you are, Clark. People see him around town enough, track his flight paths. Someone's gonna put two and two together.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Trip and Multiverse with your host, the man who got falsely imprisoned for a crime I didn't commit, but did commit crimes while I was in prison because that's how I roll, Carl Charles, and
and I'm the man whose back you sit on while in prison because I'm the chair that you beat up. CY Chung.
And today we're gonna be reviewing season 3 of the CW's Superman and Lois.
I will have to say, by the way, with this season, I know we usually do a recap and stuff like that, but this season is like storylines happen and they get breathing room, so it's not like we have to go through bit by bit, right?
Yeah.
It's probably easier for us just to go through section like of stories that happen.
Yeah,
because the major thing that happens this season, well, in the first episode, is that Lois, they think she's pregnant.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the first episode, it's like she's got cancer instead, breast cancer.
Yeah.
So not okay. I don't mind, by the way, how this season dealt with things because they a lot of breathing room, so you can feel the impact of certain things and fragility of characters and stuff like. So like, maybe Lois will die this season, maybe not, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It gives you that, like, okay, and stuff like that. So it's when you say, oh, Lois' storyline is she's got cancer, she's got to have a cancer treatment, and then there's other people at the hospital, blah blah blah, right?
Yeah,
that's that. And then there's other storylines that run through as well. So it's more simplistic just to go through stories that happen rather than a breakdown of each that we usually do.
Yeah. So where do we start? Where do we begin?
Well, what do you think, by the way, of the Lois breast cancer storyline? Actually, I did like that they set it up like it was a pregnancy.
Yeah,
and then they kind of like
they just it's through you like, oh wow, this took a turn.
yeah, and how her character basically is like, well, I'm getting a bit mopey, right?
Yeah.
Because the reality of it sets in, and it's certain denial, and then it's like, you know what? No, let me face it down, right? Let me get back to my reporting persona and stuff like that. And then it's just like, you know what? I accept what I have, and we'll work our way through it, you know, sort of thing. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? It took 13 episodes because it took a whole season for her to have that story arc, which is good because it's just if you went through one episode or half, you know, it's just like, but that's the amount of time you would have to take.
Yeah. That's what I liked about it. I was like, oh, okay. It wasn't like a 2-episode arc. Like, oh, she got cancer. Now she's cured. Yay. Sort of.
Or even, oh, it's cancer. And then we kind of not mention it until, or we do like the room. I've got cancer. And we never mention it.
Again.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was cool. Well, actually, that was cool, but it was a nice story arc. It weaved in the rest of the story where Bruno Mannheim's the main bad guy, but he's not really, actually.
No.
He's shady and shadowy and aggressive. Well, he's aggressive for a reason, right?
Yeah.
His wife has cancer, which, you know, that this is how all things merge together.
Yeah.
And essentially he's doing shady business, but partway through the season you find out he's trying to find out a cure for cancer to cure his wife.
Yeah, he's like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Though I have to say, so in Steel, John Henry Irons storyline, where his doppelganger, his original version on Earth Prime, got killed by Bruno Mannheim.
Yeah.
And so that's why they have beef.
Yeah.
You killed me, I'll kill you. So okay, right, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Once Natalie was going to the party, the party that daughter from Lana's daughter got invited to.
Yeah.
And she met the dude, right? I was like, right away, I was like, 90%, this has got to be Bruno's son.
Yeah, it's like,
not because. Go on.
No, because go what you're saying. Cause it's pretty.
I was gonna say not because he's a black kid, right? Or any profile or none of that. It's just he's the only relevant person in the storyline, and there's got to be a twist somewhere, you know?
Yeah, that's why I was like, yeah, it's got to be something like that, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, there we go.
Because when he's introduced, you just see him. You don't see his parents or nothing like that, and it's like, yeah, not to say it's predictable. I know exactly where it's heading, but I'm the greatest or anything like that. It's just like it just seemed naturally. There's specific reasons for specific
especially
things.
because they kind of make a big thing. Because like it wasn't just like a one-off like appearance. It's like, oh, okay, he's in it for quite a lot of amount of this episode. Like, yeah, he's gonna be some importance to it. Oh.
And he seemed like a genuinely good guy, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, he didn't. Okay, no, he came across like, okay, maybe there's something up with him, but then it turns out actually he is a good guy, which then means, of course, if that's the case, something's gotta happen, you know?
Yep, and it does. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so Steele's kind of beefing with Bruno, and then later on, where Natalie gets invited to dinner.
Yeah.
With Matteo, who's Bruno's son.
Yeah.
And Bruno's wife, who has meta powers and has cancer, but that's where they're trying to heal.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you? It's just like a matter of convenience. Where she's like, "Oh yeah, come give my girlfriend, right?" But you're both 16, and her family aren't going to be there or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just so later on, John Henry could be like, they look back when John Henry comes.
Yeah. And
he sees, right? And then Bruno wants to fight John Henry, and John Henry's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit. Okay, yep. All plot convenience. Like, oh yeah, you let your child meet someone else's parents on there. Yeah, it's a bit weird. But it made sense storyline wise. Yeah.
The thing is though, look, as soon as he realised it was Bruno's son, he should have just called that steel armor, right?
Yeah.
No, decides he's gonna get beat up. He's gonna go. He didn't even go to Bruno. Hold up. Yeah, I know where we got our problems, and I know you said you'd kill me or whatever.
Yeah.
If you ever saw me again, because I threatened you with my steel armor and I had you by the throat clutch. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is not between our kids. Let me just take my kid and leave, and that's
then we can sort this out later, like men or whatever.
Or like just. Can we just have this as a side bet, or in poker, right? Just like this is because this is not directly me and you. This is indirectly, and I never knew.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd have just busted in my steel armor and just beat you all up. But you know what I mean?
But no, I had some decorum. I was a gentleman.
Yeah. Well, even though he was gagging for a fight, right? And Steele's storyline was a bit. It's like, I'm just gonna get overridden with my hatred for Bruno.
Yeah.
So Bruno's wife's got cancer. She's getting healed, except that the healing doesn't. It kind of amps up her powers at the same time, or is it? Okay, would you say it makes the cancer kind of do stuff that you don't realize because they obviously they ain't got X-ray vision or none of that stuff. So they don't know if they're making it worse or better. All they know is it's subsided superficially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah. So, what did she do? Yeah. So Steele's, what are you calling it? Yeah, she John Henry finally gets his armor on at that point. She and the lady screams at her. Yeah, her kind of sonic shockwave powers and stuff like that. Sending him flying multiple times. If they didn't have the armor, he would have been dead.
Yeah.
And this way, obviously, Bruno's son's like, "What, Mom, Dad? I didn't realize." It's just like, yeah, okay. They hid the stuff away from you for 16 years, and
Yeah, pretty damn well. Which is
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Sure.
But the thing is, though, Bruno is. He's like a man trapped in bad situations. So he never comes up. Yes, he comes up as heelish at the first half of the season, right? But it's like when you
learn more about it,
down,
you're like, oh, you know what? He's kind of sympathetic. Yeah.
Yeah. Except that they hide. They always push that stuff towards the end of the episode.
Yeah.
I mean the seasons. Yeah. But yeah. So the mum is protecting Bruno from Steele, which makes sense when you think about the logic of it. It's like, yep, this dude's come to. My husband beat up this dude, right?
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it. But when the dude gets an advantage, nah. Like,
yeah.
well, okay.
Okay.
I mean, at the same time, yes, but at the same time, no.
Yep. Okay. Pick and choose. Great.
Yeah. And she kind of screams herself out, and then kind of collapses. And Bruno's holding her, and Superman arrives just after the nick of time.
Yeah.
And he takes her to the hospital. He said, "Bruno, I got to take her to the hospital." And Bruno just nods like, "Yeah, I know.
Sure.
I have my beef with you, Superman.
Yeah.
But now it's not the time for that. Even though, so he could be all right with that and do that there. Yeah. But 10 minutes ago, he couldn't do it.
No.
For the sake of no kid. All right.
Yeah. So I'm saying, it's like you value okay, I get it, but you should value your kid's safety more than your. But all right, sure.
Yeah. Exactly.
Sure.
And it's funny enough, if Bruno just said, "Look, take your kid and get out of here," that'd be in it, right?
Yeah.
No, but he's got to establish his.
He's got a peacock in it. Like, I'm the dominant man here. Rah.
Even though 100% Steele's got steel armor, right?
Yeah.
So why? And you got your fists. Why do you think you're gonna be able to do anything to him?
Yeah, he's buying into his own hype. Yeah.
Yeah. Unless he's like, oh yeah, my wife, and I've got my assassins and my wife, but it's fair enough. However, you don't have them at that moment where Steele's going to call his armor and it's going to appear in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. But hey.
But yeah, Superman takes her to hospital, and then John Henry's like, oh, the DOD actually.
Yeah. Because
she's a meta.
Yep.
And John Henry's like, well, I'm buds with the DOD. I tell you what we do. Out of spite, was what we do. We'll make sure Bruno didn't see his wife. And and Superman's like, yeah, but she's dying of cancer, so
that's kind of mean.
Yeah, he's like, not my problem. Yeah. I'm like, whoa, hold on a second, John. Right there.
Yeah, dude, man, this is where you start to become the villain. You gotta be better than them.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, so then Mateo has to come in. Like he gets allowed to visit his mum. Bruno's not allowed to visit because Steele's like, he came with his lawyer. Yeah. Sorry?
He's like, I'm petty, so he can't see his wife.
Yeah, exactly.
My wife's dead, so he can't see his wife, who's soon be dead.
yeah. High five to myself.
Yeah. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Weirdo.
I was just so he tried to, with his lawyer, say, you can't hold my wife, but John Henry's like, I'm DOD, I can do whatever I want. I'm like, wow, okay. And then Sam Lane's like, actually, still, you can't. But that's afterwards. So that Mateo goes to visit his mum, and he's got the special injector thing, whatever, that's hidden as a cufflink.
Yeah. To
repower her. Because Bruno's like, look, this is how we do it, right? We just feed her some more of the serum, and she'll be fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it subsides the cancer. She gets to do a super echo voice scream.
Breaks out the DOD.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they plan to cut. I think any plan to run away to Paris.
Who? Well, I don't think even they got that far. That's the thing.
Yeah, because her powers start malfunctioning, and she basically starts
Yeah.
destroying. I was gonna say Gotham, but I mean
Metropolis?
because it's not
I don't-
Smallville.
That's the thing. Yeah, they are somewhere, right?
I think it's Metropolis.
I think it is Metropolis because that's where John Henry's supposed to be.
Yeah, makes sense because skyscrapers and stuff. Yeah.
And so she to kind of disguise where they are. She's like causing echoes elsewhere, all around. Right?
Yeah,
but
so
then
Superman can't lock onto him with his.
but then it becomes a massive problem because her cancer, like they just start. The cancer gets more aggressive, and they start feeding her more and more of the serum, which then causes more and more issues.
Yeah.
And then she's just basically she has to run off away from them because she screamed them to death.
Yeah.
And then Superman locks onto her, and he's trying to get through to her, but she's just like in pain. So she's like what's it called? Not yelling, but she's being vocal, right? But she's not shouting. She's like right?
Yeah.
Because it hurts so much. And he's like, he takes her up to the sky, right? And where she kind of orally explodes, kind of.
Yeah, kind of like I'm trying to explain it. Like a sonic boom sort of thing?
Yeah, sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
But she's still around. Clearly her body's adaptable. Like she must be a mutant, right?
Yeah.
And you know how it is if you got the same mutant DNA, such like Havoc and Cyclops, your powers didn't affect you. Whatever, right?
Yeah.
Just like I guess you got to have that secondary mutation to be able to withstand your
powers, energy, whatever. Yeah.
And then he's like, then Superman brings her body to Bruno, and then actually just before this is where Steel pops in, right?
Yeah.
And Bruno's like, oh, Well, also Natalie is like, okay, I want to get back with Mateo. He's a good guy, and Steel, you're being a bit of a John Henry, you Dad, you're being a bit of a dick, right?
Yeah. And
so she's like leaving devices at the Mindhelm house, portrait, whatever it is, the building, right? The
stronghold, whatever it is.
Yeah. So she could find Mateo, and then when he comes back, I think she rescues. She comes there. He finds Bruno kind of threatens her, but she's like, "No, I want to help." And then John Henry comes in, and you're like, "Oh man, this is gonna go south real quick because John Henry's just gonna be like
angry.
Just beef, right?" Yeah. Especially since they sent an assassin to kill him while his armor was while his watch conveniently malfunctioned.
Yeah.
So he couldn't call his armor, and then when he called his big massive hammer, he just killed the guy.
Yep. In plain sight as well. Yeah.
Yeah, but to be fair, I will say, and this is what he didn't say, but he should have just said it. It was like, because that guy was Superman already encountered the guy, and the guy should have been dead.
Yeah.
So John Henry, after he hit him once with that big massive hammer, should have just said he was already dead.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
essentially, he was a walking corpse. Well, it wasn't really a walking corpse, but he should have been dead twice because of the cancer and because of when he had this encounter of, like the previous encounter, like when Superman had the encounter, he thought that guy was already dead.
Yeah.
At that point, so yeah. Not to justify like, oh yeah, John Henry is out to hurt someone, of course, right? But you know, it's less like, oh, I've murdered the guy, and basically they're like, yeah.
Yeah,
they brought him back from shady means.
Yeah,
so you know
that's the whole kind of like one of the other backstories in this season where Mannheim, I think that's the guy's name, right? Bruno Mannheim. He's trying to find a cure for like cancer, and he's using some weird, shady doctors to resurrect DNA and stuff like that.
Yeah,
which they got from.
Oh, hold on. Just go on.
Oh no, good.
I was gonna say just before to catch up on that part, right? Before we move on to this, is that so when John Henry comes, when he arrives with where Natalie and Matteo are, and where Bruno is beefing with him, he was like, look, no, your wife's got cancer. We're going to fix this, right? I know we got problems, but I'm not here to make things any worse right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which then, obviously, because the wife was screaming everyone to, causing everyone in the streets to have like, pain in their,
Because that's why Superman took her up into the sky, because if she exploded on the ground, probably would have killed like people in like a 6-mile radius, I think it was.
But I was like, John Henry, where was this before, right? You could have helped with this issue a long time ago. But I also say, it's kind of more realistic to do these, like, if you have a problem with someone, you aren't going to be like, look, let's just set this aside.
You're not going to feel
right away.
Yeah, that's why Superman was kind of in this whole situation. Even before this, he was kind of more neutral to it, so you can see both sides. That's why he was willing to help him. Because remember, there's a scene age before where he goes to Mannheim and asks about something, and then he hears the DOD come and he's like, "This has nothing to do with me."
He was asking about the cancer cure because Lois had
cancer.
Yeah, but he was obviously not trying to say that he was
Clark,
Lois's husband. Or He's saying, I know you're doing experiments, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
So he was leaning that direction.
Yeah. And then that's when...
And they had... The very first episode, I think they had an issue. Bruno and Superman.
Yeah.
But the way that he deals with it is much different.
Yeah.
Than how John and Bruno dealt with it.
But I can see why John Henry kind of went that way, because... his doppelganger got killed and framed for being like an evil person when he wasn't, and then his sister on this world got threatened by it. So I can see why he's being.
Also, it's one of those things where John Henry needs the armor, whereas you can say whatever you want to Superman, right?
Yeah.
He's Superman, so you can deal with it then and there. Like I'm not saying ping, it just bounces off him, but Bruno threatens Superman. Superman's like, all right, Bruno.
Yeah.
Not whatever, but just be like,
sure.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it takes her to this guy. She kind of like sonic boom, shockwave, whatever across it, and then there's the sad time when Superman brings back her body to Bruno. He's like, sad times. But you were saying about the experimentation they were doing.
Yeah. So I totally forgot about this plot point until it turned up. Like, oh yeah, snap, huh? Because they're using, I want to say, Bizarro Superman, because he's from the Bizarro world.
Yeah.
His DNA to do these experiments. I'm like, oh yeah, he died on this planet, didn't he? Yeah, I remember that now. Okay. Yeah.
And my question is, why would you think it'd be a good idea to take DNA or whatever it is from this being, not only using alternate reverse world, but he is alien also, so you don't know exactly what his biology is. So, and it looks like he's rotting from the outside.
Yeah, and you kind of find out why later. Kind of, I think. Yeah, so that was an interesting plot point, and I was like, oh, okay, that's. And then a bit at the end, I kind of did not see it coming, but that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. I was going to say, let's get to that later, right?
Yeah. I was like,
the other storylines running through were
Jordan being a dick.
Yeah, Jordan being a dick, right?
Yep.
So Clark is like, he's trying to help. I think Jonathan also is trying to be trying to help, so he's like, oh, I'll be a fireman, right?
Yeah.
I did like the scene where Candace's dad didn't steal the truck, but blatantly stole the truck.
Yeah.
Punched Jonathan in the face. I didn't like this. No, this is not why. Right, she punched Jonathan in the face. He then threatened Lois, low key, but not but I'll shoot you down. Like, he has a gun, but he basically is like, it's on my belt, but I will shoot you. But,
Okay. Like, okay.
So Clark's like,
bruh.
He's like, all right, well, I'm gonna go deal with this. And Lois is like, what? This is not a job for Superman. And Clark's like, no, he's not coming.
Yeah.
And then he goes to the cafe.
He punks him out big time.
Yeah, everyone's looking at, oh, what's Clark Kent gonna do? We're like, Clark's a big guy, actually. You know.
Yeah, yeah. But like, because of how he carries himself, you kind of forget that. Like, if you're a normal person, there, right? No, he's just the worst. He probably goes to like Pilates or something, and then dude just shows him up in front of everyone. It's like, yeah, you better leave because you mess with my child, my wife. You know.
Yeah.
I can basically make you disappear.
He threatens the guy, but he doesn't threaten like Batman would.
Yeah, yeah. He does it like a calm manner in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, which is probably worse because, you know, like, when someone's that calm, it feels like they're going to murder you.
Yeah, yeah. You're like, oh, wow, he could be a serial killer, and I wouldn't know.
But the thing is, though, for Clark, he has that charm where after the guy's left, right? After he said, I don't want to do this with your daughter. The guy goes, she'd seen a lot worse. And then he tries to punk out Clark. Clark grabs him, slams his head into the table, right? And you know he could have just slammed his head through the table, but he just presses it against the table, and basically says, "Look, I will ruin your life."
Yep.
Because I'm a journalist. He threatens them with
that way, yeah.
And then, so you don't come near me or my wife. You don't you don't hurt my son, and you don't threaten my wife again. You know.
Yeah.
And then after, he says, "Get out of here now." So, and then Candace is there as well, the daughter, and she's like, "Did he really do all that?" And Clark's like, "Yeah." Like, I know it's odd to say, "Oh, did he really do all that?"
Yeah.
If you're like, as we're the audience, we've seen him do it, right? Well, we didn't technically.
But she kind of knows her dad is a dick, so I don't know why. Well,
but no, but it's one of these things where you're like, I can't believe this actually. You know, it's a such disbelief of like, what are you thinking? You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Clark's like, yep, he sure did, right? She goes, "Oh, can I see Jonathan?" And he's like, Clark's like, "Yeah, go ahead." And then he's like to people, "I apologize for what happened just now.
Yeah,
I'm sorry you all had to see that." And I'm like, wow, okay, right. No wonder why they don't think Clark's is just like, I'm gonna do my business, but people, you know, this is just out kind of slightly out of character business, but at the same time. So good on that.
Yeah.
You say, so Jordan is using his powers
for fame, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't start like that, right?
It's like this whole season. It's kind of like in a good way. Like the roles are sort of reversed. Like before, Jordan was the kind of like the calm, child, and John, was a kind of a bashful kid. And like this season's kind of turned around. Like John's become more like down to earth. Like, you know what, I'm gonna have superpowers, but I'm still gonna try my best to help other people.
Yeah, and
become the more chilled brother. And then Jordan, because of the whole thing with Sarah breaking up with him, he's just gone to a complete angsty arsehole teenager. Like, oh wow, where he's gone. And even John pulls up sometimes, like, dude, you can't be doing this. Like, tranquilo. But
I'll get to the bit that I really did like in this story. Like, okay, so I could have done with that. Like, you expect these people to be more mature, but then you realize they're actually meant to be 16 or something like that. Actually, kind of give it a bit more leeway. But you're like, even then, Spider-Man is supposed to be 17 or whatever he is. Like, you know, he wouldn't pull this stuff.
No.
Especially when you have powers and things could go. Anyways, so he does save, like, Jonathan's trying to be a fireman. Jordan saves someone, and then but Jonathan's told to stay by the truck. So he does and he doesn't, and then because he sees Jordan come out, then he's like, all right, well, you've got a person here, like, let me help them. And then when the other firemen come out, Kyle, Cushing, right, they're like, why don't you stay by the truck? And then they're like, all right, what did you do?
Yeah.
Right. And obviously Jonathan can't say, well, my brother helped this guy and saved them. And he can't explain why he moved from the truck either.
Yeah, he kind of screws him over, like, oh wow, no, you just put your brother into. Kyle Cushing being the father. The father of Sarah Cushing. Yep.
And also the chief fireman.
Yeah. He's
Yeah, so his storyline is,
wow,
someone is up. Something's up, right, with the there's another person with superpowers in this town.
Yeah,
you know, Because it can't be Superman. Why is Superman in Smallville? Even though Clark looks like Superman, but he's going to put that together, right? But I like I like how they must have planned out how everything weaves together.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot more. All right, we're on the journey of discovery.
Yeah, nothing seemed like out of nowhere. Like, hey, I just figured this out. They like plant the seed so that him figuring out stuff. You're like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Also in this, it's not. I wouldn't say there's much filler. People have storylines that do stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not like say the Flash, right, where you have filler episodes which minor storyline like link it across.
Yeah.
From the 2 episodes before or something like that.
Yeah.
Though I would like, considering this is like Superman's got a massive roster of villains.
Yeah.
So the minor villains could do something that's not storyline related, and you just catch them at the beginning of the episode or something like that. But that doesn't need to happen. But it's just one of those things where it's like the story is exactly what it needs to be with no fluff. But that's the thing is like in your life with all these villains, how often is that going to happen?
Yeah. How often?
Yeah. But yeah, so Sam Lane is like, Jordan, if you're going to do these heroics, you need a disguise.
Yeah.
So he gives him like a leather jacket of sort of like, here's the thing, right? Remember the Superman whatever league from season 2 with that dude tagged with super speed?
Yeah.
The Legion of Superman or whatever they're called, right?
Yeah.
It's like, why can't you just take one of those costumes? But I guess you don't want to pretend this dude is not Superman related.
Yeah, it'd be too obvious, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, here's some goggles that my grandfather wore when he was a fighter pilot or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and they were like, we have to do something about that hair though, because that's the recognizable. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. But yeah, he gets a bit too much, too big for his. Whatever's going on with him and Sarah, because they're friends, but they're not friends because they have attitudes with each other. Because
John can't move on. Not John, sorry. Jordan can't move on.
Yeah. And Sarah is like, well, I've got other problems because my dad is going out with some other girl who's not my mum. And my mum is being friendly with John Henry Irons.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take a while out on you. When I say talk, not abusively, but just be like shut in.
Yeah.
Kind of. That's what it seems like. Oh, yeah, we'll be friends, but we're kind of not when certain issues arise. I'm like, all right. Someone's, you got to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah.
But yes, Jordan is being a bit more of a. I want to say not obsessive stalker vibes, but just be like.
But it comes across that way.
No, but it's just like the problem is this dude is, instead of asking the question of where are we right now, he's flip flopping because he doesn't know what's going on. It's like just ask her, and she actually stayed kind of where her perspective was. Yeah. But the dude's in denial. So it's just like, you need to lock it down.
Yeah, or just move on. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Either that, or you stop making everyone else like you're making her uncomfortable as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you start having, I wish we're never friends. I wish we're never friends.
Yeah, some of the stuff you said, like, dude, man, you're going a bit too far.
Yeah, and then I think the bit where at the end where he rescues people from the tornadoes that's happening.
Yeah.
When Superman's going into the tornado.
Yeah.
Jordan comes along and he's like, "No, you got to stay out. Like, just go. Don't. People are being kind of aware of you already. So let me just deal with this, right?" But he goes and helps anyways, right? They make the tornado finish. Whatever. The people underneath the bypass. Jordan lands and he starts taking selfies with them.
Yeah.
Clark lands. Superman lands and he's like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Sorely disappointed is the best way I could put it, right?
Yeah.
And then later on, where Jordan's like, "Yo, yeah, I'll do like I don't have not." He did a teenager attitude thing of physically saying, but without actually verbally saying it. I don't have to listen to you, right? Yeah. And when Clark basically puts her hand like on him, right?
Yeah.
Not like slap him, but just like
just a fatherly hand gesture, sort of like.
Yeah, because John, he's about to stomp off or whatever. He just puts his hands to his chest and just be like, this is serious, right?
Yeah.
Jordan slaps it away, whatever he does.
Yeah.
And Clark's like, "Don't you ever do that to me again." I'm like, wow, he will. Like, that's okay. the way that came across is like, boy, you are pushing the line, and I will murder you.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you're only half Kryptonian. I'm full Kryptonian. I can.
Not that he's like, but the way it's like, it's like this is. I'm not mucking about right now, you know. And it's obviously not a threat, okay? But it's just like you need to control yourself, otherwise, I'm like, man, yeah. He said a lot without saying it, and I'm like, if I was Jordan, I'd be like, yeah, I've just got to go and change my trousers.
Yeah.
Oh. But yeah. So I think those are the major storylines, except for you were going to say the end before I interrupted you to cover other bits. But this is where we get to the finale, anyways.
Yeah, but there's other little storylines we're talking about, like the divorce going on between the Cushings.
Yeah, so Kyle Cushing's going out with the lady who runs the newspaper.
Yeah, Natalie. Yeah. Yeah, they hook up and then they end up getting together. And then by the end, she finds out she's pregnant. It's like, oh, bless.
And where Lana is kind of like a bit iffy on it, at the same time, slightly jealous. But I'm like, Lana, you can flirt around with John Henry Irons, yeah. I know he had it's probably because he had an affair with you at the beginning, but you're separated now, and you seem to be getting, you know, spending some your away time, you know. So it's like,
it's just like, leave it alone, you know. Just leave it alone. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, the worst thing you guys could do is just have problems with each other because you both moved on.
Yeah.
I'm
trying to think any other storylines. Sam Lane trying to get back into the dating pool. That's the other one.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. There was like a weird bit. I was like, oh no, I feel like him and Lana is gonna get together, and that's weird.
Oh yeah, because they were talking about how their divorces were going. And stuff like that.
And I was like, oh, this is a bit weird. Don't go there.
Yeah, it is. You know what it is though, because the dude playing Sam Lane.
Yeah.
Like if he had white hair, right, or if he had grey hair.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, but I'm sure because he dyes his hair more like
brown,
yeah, he seems younger than he's supposed to be.
Yeah. So
which is like a bit
Please don't do it, please.
Yeah. I think also he's playing older than he's meant to be as well.
Yeah.
Where she's playing younger than she's meant to be slightly as well. So he makes the age gap the way like them age gap is meant to be bigger than it actually is as far as the actors are.
Yeah. That's true. I can't think of any other storylines.
No, wait, before the main storyline, which we'll get to without spoiling it. Other than how we get to So the main story, the story at the back end of this is the Lex Luthor storyline. So you go. That's where you.
Which is hilarious because he's only like 2 episodes, right?
Yeah. He
does so much.
Does he make a minor appearance at the end of the the 11th episode?
Yeah, I think like a minor appearance. Yeah. But like, he gets mentioned.
Yeah.
In the storyline because he gets set up for murdering someone who Mannheim ends up taking over Metropolis because of him.
Yeah.
And they figure out, oh no, it wasn't Lex Luthor, so he gets pardoned from it.
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure they can still get him for other things because he.
Yeah. Well, yeah. They say, right. He's done a lot of criminal stuff, right, and he feels he's unjustly put in jail by being framed. It's like, but I'm sure there's tons of other things that you did. So I don't know why you're beefing with that. You're just lucky they didn't find all the other stuff that you did.
Exactly. So it's like,
But then the problem is, of course, is like, first of all, there's no evidence of the stuff that I did.
Yeah.
And the evidence that you did, that you have got on me, is not me.
Yeah.
So it's your fault. And like, oh, all right.
I get the logic, but you're still a bad guy. I mean,
Yeah.
It's not like prison turned him into a bad guy. Because at first I thought, prison turned him into a bad person. Like, no, he's always been a bad person.
He's like, I missed 17 years of life because you sent me to jail. I was like, Yeah, but you're a criminal.
Yeah.
And you made yourself a criminal.
Yeah.
So I don't,
Don't see where you're going with this. Yeah, it's like,
yeah, exactly.
oh,
And you know that they would have probably found something on him eventually at some point.
yeah. Oh.
They just found stuff that wasn't at the time,
Yeah.
but also earlier than he probably expected. I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, he gets framed because Mannheim's wife managed to fake his voice and made him admit to murdering someone. Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The power, by the way, that doesn't come back, never mentioned again because
plot convenience. But anyway.
But Clark works this out because when they listen to the tape, there's frequency.
Yeah, that she makes when she does her powers.
Yeah. So they put 2 and 2 together there.
Yeah. So that's another kind of story where Lois is kind of in two minds. No, Clark's in two minds of Lois getting Luthor out of prison, but she's like, well, I forced imprisoned him and he missed out his life, so I'm gonna, push for it to get into court. So yeah, that all happens. Luthor gets out, and then
first thing he does is like, I'm gonna go to the Clark household, Kent household, and threaten them. I'm like, all right.
What I found hilarious, but also at the same time, he legit walked there.
Yeah.
Legit. Obviously, he probably made like pit stops on the way there and everything, but that's the first thing he does. He's like, he comes out of prison, looks at a picture of his daughter, throws his wedding ring away, and just walks and says, "Yeah, make sure whoever meets me at that place at the right time." So like, he spent 17 years figuring out how long it would take him to walk there.
Yeah. When they show him in jail when he's typical Lex Luthor, where he basically just threatened people and took over the jail.
Yep.
I mean, like, Otis was the guy, by the way.
That was it, yeah.
Yeah, and he wanted Luthor wanted the Clippers, and then Luthor, they're like, nah. And he's like, right, well, I'm going to threaten all of you, right? And they're like, no, you ain't. They beat him up.
Yeah.
And then he speaks to the warden and says, Warden, I'm actually going to go and kill every single one of your family members. You can call them.
Yeah.
And you can get confirmation. And then when the warden does, Lex Luthor basically says, now I run this place, and I want those Clippers. And then they get Otis and all his cohorts, and they just keep on beating, like, get the policemen to... He makes the entire place corrupt.
But I like how, like, when you first see him, he was sort of guy, he's getting his hair cut, and he goes, I want those Clippers. He goes, how much you give me? I'll make you an offer. He goes, like, 500,000. He goes, $5. He goes, no. And then he threatens all of them, like, I'll make sure this happens to you, and how much you can walk.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then they're like, and they beat him up. And then he gets the wardens to do exactly what he said to all of them. I was like, wow, man.
Yeah.
He is great. This is probably like the scariest Lex Luthor I've seen so far.
But like, what it is he's sitting down, right, at the table, he's eating his egg, and then all of a sudden what he does is he raises a fist and starts, like, a hammer fisting.
Yeah.
Like, what if he's sitting on? So you assume he's just bashing the leg of a chair or something like that. No. When the camera goes behind him, right?
Yeah.
He's sitting on a dude, and he's just bashing the guy's head. Oh, I'm like, all right, okay,
Sure. Oh.
Yeah.
I was like,
but yeah, like you say, he basically walks over to Lois and Clark's house and threatens them, and Clark has to be like, Luthor, you need to cool down. Clark actually does get to threaten people a lot without threatening them, which is the weirdest thing.
Yeah, he's good
at it. Yeah, but then they so I think in the final episode they're celebrating when the meteor shower hit Smallville. All right,
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is where Luthor enacts his plan, because days before they found the body of Bizarro.
Yeah.
Which was alive, but not.
Yeah.
Because he's eating rats.
Yeah, I think he's like, because he's obviously not the same one that, like, obviously his mind's not the same as it was before when he was. Yeah, so I think he's a zombie basically, isn't it?
Yeah. Who knows exactly what they've done to him?
Yeah.
Because when they had his corpse, he had color in his face.
Yeah.
And then he turned more and more Bizarro.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah. So I don't get this, right? But I get it at the same time, right? I don't get the logic of why Bizarro would accept it, by the way. But it's like, oh look, you're hurting, right? And I know a way to make it not hurt.
Yeah.
And if I keep on killing you, you won't feel pain again. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
This is actually Bizarro logic, Luther.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why he understood it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why Bizarro was like, oh yeah, 100%.
Like, okay.
But yeah, Lex Luthor basically just murders the guy several hundred times.
32 days straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's got axes, he's got flamethrowers, he's got lasers, he's got all sorts of craziness.
Bazookas, drowns him, all this stuff. Like, oh wow, this.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what? All right, but I'm not sure exactly why Bizarro Superman. Okay, yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, but then why? How does he threaten Superman? Where's? I think does he call Luthor to a location?
No, wait, because he kidnaps Sam Lane.
Oh yeah. Using the online dating thing because Sam's using an online dating app.
Yeah.
He meets his date, but then his date turns out
To be one
is
of
a spy for
Luthor.
Yeah.
And then I think he threatens Lois. Can't remember how he threatens Lois.
Well, by the way, because Otis was in this, do you reckon? I know his date wasn't named. No, it was named, right?
Oh.
Was she? Was it Tess? Was it Tess Mercer?
I don't think so. Because technically,
okay.
Tess Mercer's his sister. Really, I don't.
Oh no, you're talking about the Smallville Tess Mercer.
Yeah, but I always thought
Tess
that was,
Marker.
yeah.
Oh no, it's Tess Mercer and there's Tess Marker because that's what they called her in the Superman movie.
Yeah, we go. And then I can't remember. Something I can't remember how he employs Superman.
Yeah.
Or he goes to the Kent's house knowing that if he does something to Lois, Superman will come. So Superman comes, and then he goes, "Well, here's your doomsday."
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah. And there he is. There he is. Look, he crashes. He decides to crash into from the space, right? Like a meteor. He crashes into the barn or whatever.
Yeah.
Walks out like he's a abomination.
Yeah.
From Incredible Hulk
2008.
2008.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
And Superman immediately kind of recognizes his own deformed face,
Yeah.
but also sees the inverse S on him. And is like, what have they done to you?
Yeah.
You know?
Me.
And they have a really cool fight. I know it's in the darkness, so you can't really see not a huge amount of it, but
Yeah,
like
'cause obviously
if there's
the
any
cover-
shoddiness in the CG.
Yeah, which makes sense. Yeah. But it still looks pretty good.
But they did save their budget for that because I'm like, wow, you know what? Yeah, there's no one. Lots of things happen, but there's nothing extravagant that happens.
Yeah.
Like Steel doesn't wear his armor a lot and stuff like that. So like,
No.
oh, maybe they just saved it for this.
Yeah.
I know at times he did seem like he had too much of a sheen.
Yeah.
And it
yeah.
looked a bit video gamey. But I mean, for TV production when they don't have the budget for this stuff, it looked really good.
Pretty
actually.
good. Better than them having some like ropey, weird looking costumes. So like, yeah.
Like you're cussing the Smallville costume or you're cussing the Krypton costume?
Wait, what?
So the one in the Doomsday in Smallville was a dude in the
well, it looked okay for the time. Yeah.
Yeah, but because they're using the far away shots and close up shots and stuff, like it kind of disguised what it was.
Yeah.
And in Krypton, they also had a Doomsday.
Okay, because I never watched Krypton. But okay. Oh.
All right. I haven't watched it either, but I saw clips. Yeah. So yeah, but the CG looks really good. They have a fight. Superman gets beat up. He tries to punch him, but Doomsday's arms are twice as long as him. Right? No, his arm twice as long as Superman. Right?
Yeah, I did like as well. Like one of Doomsday's arms was longer than the other. I was like, yeah, he's an abomination.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You know, that's the arm that probably got beat up more.
Yeah.
Anyways,
or got cut off, or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah. Superman got Shoryuken into Oblivion.
Yep.
Right? Actually, even just before this fight is right. I think he knocks Doomsday so he uses his powers like ice breath and stuff like that. But basically, they land in Smallville, right?
Yeah.
Steel and Jordan and the fans, they were there, right?
Yeah.
And Superman's like, don't. Okay. So I'm like, all right, fair enough. You could have used Steel's help without, even if he just called his hammer to assist, but whatever, right? Fair enough. You gotta have the cliffhanger fight, right? Doomsday smashes Superman, takes him into space because he learns how to fly, which makes sense in the
Yeah.
No, he never did learn how to fly, but I think he relearned that he could fly.
Yeah.
And then as they're going out of orbit, Clark's having the Dragon Ball Z Gohan for all my family flashback.
Yeah.
As well as the sun's hitting him, so he's getting repowered.
Yep.
And then they're flying on the moon. Doomsday's like, right, I want to take my shoulder shanks out, right?
Yeah.
Double forward jump. Superman's like, all right, well, Psycho. What he's gonna do? I hope he does the Psycho Crusher. By the way, he needs to heat vision out while he does the. Anyway,
Crusher.
Yeah, and that's what happens there. So
yeah, which I was like, wait, what? And then I
Yeah.
had to check, like, oh, okay, this is only 13 episodes this season. Just making sure.
Yeah.
Just making sure. Cool.
yeah, I like is dirty cliffhanger, right?
Yeah.
But what do you think if they go into the Death of Superman storyline or the Reign of the Superman storyline? Because I'm not saying necessarily that's the way they're going, but they got Steel already, and they do kind of have Jordan, who would be Superboy, but he needs to step up a bit more, which would be his character journey if his dad dies in the first episode. Do you know what I mean?
But what I've heard,
Yeah,
for the next season, they have cut down the cast a lot. So I think
Yeah.
Steel's not in it.
no, I think he's not a regular cast member.
Yeah.
He's going to be a guest star.
Yeah. So I think I don't know if they.
Well, the thing is, right? You could have the DoD building their own Superman, as in make a cyborg super. You can. I know it's not. Okay, first of all, that storyline's a bit weird, right?
Yes.
And you would. It might be a whole season worth of storyline, which it probably shouldn't be, right? But if it's like the first half of the season, 10 episodes next season, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, if they do the Return of Superman storyline, they would have to cut. It would probably take up.
Half the season, all the season, really.
Yeah, exactly. And then you'd have to have another season to wrap up certain other things.
Yeah.
I'm not saying replicate, by the way, the Death of Superman storyline, because you need War World and all that Mongol and all that stuff, right? I'm just saying, like, the multiple Superman sort of thing going on.
Yeah. Because they probably do. I reckon he might go into Kryptonian sleep, not die, and then Jordan might be Superman for a bit.
Superboy.
Yeah.
Which would look if he's facing Cyborg Superman and the Eradicator, Steel will have, there's stuff they could do, but I'm intrigued. If they do that, they might not be the route they go, but which is also fair enough.
Yeah.
But they've got the parts for it, is why I'm thinking they're going in that direction. But then what do you do to make it not the? You don't have the backstory that you have with the actual Return of Superman stuff. So
yeah, it's a bit of a
but the thing is, I trust the writers.
Yeah,
They've taken storylines. They basically made original storylines out of other parts.
Yeah. Made it work.
But yeah, what do you think of the overall season?
I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it was kind of more like it dealt with lots of more human issues.
Yes.
And I was like,
Which
cool.
was the thing as well. It's like it's suspenseful because you're like, all right, it's not the action or stuff that's going on. It's like, what's the characters that are the more intriguing thing? Obviously, the teenage characters being the teenage characters. I could do with them being a bit more mature, but then that's what that's your yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them actually are dealt with maturely. It just means Jordan is the one that I know he gets his bit at the end where he's like he's like, okay, Clark's like, they're like, all right, the fans is back together,
yeah.
But Jordan's still beefing with Sarah for some reason.
Yeah.
And Clark's like, you gotta look, man, you're making things worse for her.
Yeah.
So wherever she's got her problems already, and you're regressing, if anything, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, all right,
happy with her decision not to be with you, sort of thing.
yeah, exactly. So no, not necessarily prove her wrong or anything like that, but just you are definitely not helping the situation.
No.
At least give her peace of mind or something like that, right?
Yeah, just bugger
So
off.
he has to man up and apologize. I say man up only because he's a boy, right?
Yeah.
He's acting like such a chump kid.
He's a boy. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you're saying, right? The role reversal is like he's acting like the petulant child, and just because he's got powers doesn't make him like not necessarily you're using them for the wrong things or anything. It's just like stop hot dogging, stop being a glory hound and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, if anything, you should be more careful.
Yeah. Be more considerate about
Yeah.
others. But no.
But yeah, no, I really enjoyed the season as well. It was like the cancer thing got me at the beginning. I'm like, they can't just brush it away though. Right?
Yeah, because I really thought they might have done that. Because other shows were kind of like that lasted 2 episodes and just.
Or it was employed by Lex Luthor. She doesn't really have cancer, you know.
Yeah.
Just to frighten her and stuff like. No, actually, they gave her a mastectomy and stuff like that. And then how people that have had cancer deal with it as well, and how kind of actually, the core backbone of it is just we have to deal with life situations, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I liked how they even explained about him trying to go to his Kryptonian mother hologram.
Yeah.
About, hey, can we use Kryptonian technology to save her? And she's like, nope. I like how they addressed that. Like, okay, yep, that's good.
And I mean, the boys will be boys, right? But sometimes they do stuff that is out of order.
Yeah.
And they're having a go at Clark, and I'm like, well, if he was a normal dad, if he didn't have superpowers, he'd have probably he'd have disciplined you guys proper good, you know?
Yeah, but you can't.
The thing is, he can't, because he'll kill one of you if he disciplines you, and the other one is going to be he'll have to put you down.
Yep, like a dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
But overall, yeah, good season.
Yeah. Intrigued about the 4th season. I actually hope they get a 5th season as well.
Same.
That's going to be. So Superman Legacy, I think, is supposed to come out in 2025.
Yeah.
So if they get a 5th season, it would have to be before that comes out in the cinema, maybe a 6-month break. So what I'm saying is, if they get a 2025 season, it'd probably have to be early at the beginning of the year.
I don't think they'll do 25 season episodes because.
No, as in a season in 2025.
I mean, oh, sorry, I thought you meant like 25 episodes, but yeah.
No.
Yeah, what you mean? You got to do kind of early, innit? Yeah.
Yeah, because if they have it, say, finish in the first third of the year, then Superman Legacy could come out tail end of the year.
Yeah, because that's when they want everything all the TV shows and stuff to be all connected again, isn't it?
Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what they kind of killed off. They're not killed off the Flash, even though Flash to me came to a natural ending anyway.
Yeah.
But I think that's why they're trying to plan that everything is going to be connected after that. That's why they got rid of Titans and Doom Patrol, because they want all the TV stuff to be connected to the movie stuff again.
Oh, you mean like a Marvel thing?
Yeah.
Which they can do with lower tier, like people that don't get the spotlight.
Yeah.
The thing is, they've got to organize their universe first to make it make sense. So is Blue Beetle and Aquaman still in the new DCU or the old DCU? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll find out with that.
Yeah, but if Superman Legacy is the start of it, then that's 2 years for everything else to wrap up, which is fine.
Yeah, it's fine. You got enough time. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up if you can watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the man who threatens his daughter. I'm a man who threatens another man in front of his of that person's daughter, C.Y. Chung.
And I am the man who went into a store and beat up a person's dad and then apologized to everyone for the violence I showed, which wasn't much violence. Carl Charles. And wait, we also forgot to mention that now Carl Cushing knows Superman is Clark Kent. Yeah, we've got to mention that.
So to wrap up the Powers storyline,
yeah,
Jordan rescued someone, and then Clark had basically said, "Look," and he's like, "Look, I know it's your son. Jonathan that did it," because he assumes it's Jonathan, right?
Job's like, no, I have no powers, but okay, sure.
Yeah, and Clark's like, "Look, I got to rescue Lois in this other situation." So like Carl, no, it's not. He doesn't have powers. No. And Carl's like, yeah, he is. Look, I'll prove it to you. I'll prove it to you, right?
Yeah.
I'll prove it to you that your son has powers. And then Clark's like, he just pokes him with 2 fingers and says, look, he doesn't have powers, right?
Yeah.
Sends Carl
talk about
back
this
about
later.
3 steps,
Yeah.
3 or 4 steps, and says, look, I have to go now, but we'll speak about this tomorrow, I promise. Right? And
Yeah.
he just flies off, and then it's like, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like, oh.
And he's like, Mr. Superman, sir.
Yeah.
But yeah. So he found out, and I was like, that's actually quite a logical way for him to find out.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. It
Yeah.
built to it rather than just some random, like, oh, I saw you getting changed and you're Superman, whatever. Yeah. So I like that bit.
Yeah. No one else in the firehouse seems to know, but hey, whatever.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
And I found it especially funny how they all gaslit Kyle when he said, oh, yeah, someone's here, someone's got powers. And then everyone who knows that they've got powers.
Yeah. They should have brought
like-
that up, though. He should have brought that up. Like, you lot made me think I was going crazy.
Yeah. The only person who brings it up is the one he's in a relationship with. It's like, no, she's not the only one. And if anything, yeah, you don't take out your anger on her. You're in a relationship with her. You can take out your anger on the other people that have been lying to you.
Yeah. Who've known longer as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the kind of bad in life. Is like, you took out on her, and then, like she said, it's not my secret to tell. So you can't be having a go at me for not, Yeah, that was a... But yeah. Yes, thank you for listening to us talk about Superman and Lois. Have you guys seen the first 2 seasons? Are you planning on seeing the third? Let us know, and let us know what your favorite moments or characters are in the show. And you can do that by giving us give us a like and subscribe on YouTube. You can leave a comment in the comment section saying who's your favorite character, or if you're listening to this on the audio realms, you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter and send us a tweet or Instagram message about what your favorite character is. So yeah, and I'd like to thank you all once again for taking a trip with us around the multiverse. Bye.
Bye.
Bloop.
Like I said, I was gonna have to face him at some point. Guess now's as good a time as any.
Been a long time.
I see you managed to keep your release a secret.
Warden Ellis made a few calls. Helps having powerful friends. Fly him out in the country. Not what I expected from you. Lots changed since I went away. You got pregnant. Had kids. Twins are what, 16 now?
You and I are not discussing my children.
What about your cancer? Is that off limits too?
My doctors are optimistic.
Funny how that worked. You got sick, and your cancer led you to Bruno Mannheim's wife and my acquittal. I should be grateful.
For what part, exactly?
You should have listened to me in the first place. I always said I was innocent.
The evidence at the time didn't support your story.
I guess times have changed.
What do you want?
You gonna tell me you're sorry?
Is that what you're here for? An apology? Okay. I got it wrong, and I'm sorry.
I was innocent! 17 years of my life gone! And you think I want words? My daughter, she was 14. Now she won't talk to me. Do you think your words can fix that? That's enough. Shut your mouth! Your words are what put me away. What I want is to never have to read your words again.
So what, you're asking me to retire?
Not asking. I'm telling you what needs to happen. How it happens, I don't give a damn.
I was wrong about what happened to Moxie. But I wasn't wrong about what you are.
It's easy to be brave with Superman and the DOD watching out for you. You need to leave. Now. Well, it looks like my ride's here.
Don't ever come back.
Then you'd better retire. Tell Superman he's next. Right on time, Otis.